Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, Wa Rahmatullahi Wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. It's time for a party. Today's party is cold. Check the titles, check the words, check the story, check the lesson. We are in the midst of learning about Malachai Zadoq. Some of you know the phrase as Melchizedek. Yesterday, we went through almost 2 hours of no audio, no video. I give my sincere apologies. See that picture in front of you? What do you know about trains, except for what you've seen when they pass you by? There is a culture concerning trains. There are many cultures concerning the subculture of punk rock. Some of you might know about 3 chords as far as music is concerned. Da na 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 na. Some of you might know about the looks, a mohawk, a peewee in the front. The ladies might wear Chelseas. Their sideburns are long, their hair is short. The ladies might wear a pixie cut. Short hair, not quite a bowl cut, yet something like it. Culture. Culture that goes beyond what you would normally see. A culture that is subversive and at the same time stand out. Liberty spikes. A mohawk that stands out with spikes and a motto of liberty. Things that you can find inside of a culture that you wouldn't know unless you investigated, unless you took the time out to research, to understand. Not to doom, not to damn, not to say someone else is in the wrong. Research. We missed a whole day yesterday, and it was my fault. I didn't check out what was going on with technology. I did not make sure that the broadcast was live. It was my fault. So today, we're going to take it all the way back to how I learned to broadcast a message. You start with a picture. You start with something everybody can relate to. Here's my picture. Once you get your broadcast going, you tell people about things that they can relate to, things they can relate with. What can you relate to at this point? There are trains that go through every town. There are trains that travel along a line that you can see from the highway while you travel across farmland. There are trains that take people to places. Now, you don't always see those trains. Sometimes you might see them going across the farmland. However, you don't see them trains all the time. You see those trains going across farmland, delivering what consumers want. There's a difference between want and need. What a consumer needs can be found 3 steps away from your doorstep. What a consumer wants may only be found on the other side of the globe. That's when the question occurs: how much output comes from you that is worthy of a product being sent to you from on the other side of the world? That's where people start to become capitalistic. How much does it cost to send something across the globe? How much does it cost to make an object that will be sent across the globe? Now ask yourself, how much does it cost for you to generate an object fashioned by your hands? What does it cost you? What does it cost you to make something that you know how to make easily with very few materials compared to what does it cost for you to make something that you were trained to make? What does it cost you to make something that by your natural talents cost very little compared to what does it cost for you to make something that someone trained you to do? Do we need that thing that someone trained you to do? Or do we need what you were naturally born to do? We missed yesterday. We are currently on a path. We are exploring Malachai Zadoq. Yesterday was the third day. We've made it to the fourth day. On the third day, we were discussing Son of Man has no home. Today, the root of the Order of Malachai Zadoq. The root of the Order. There are people who will tell you when you open your Bible, first man is Adam, first woman is Eve. I'm here to tell you that anyone who thinks that way is incorrect. There was mankind, and Adam was fashioned inside of the seed of mankind. Well, how is that possible? He was in the garden. No. Mankind already existed. There were 7 families. It's up to you to go and find the research to let you know about those families. I'm here to tell you that the Canaanites are one whole family. It doesn't matter if you come from Abraham, if you come from Israel, if you come from Hebrew, you come from the Canaanite family. Why did I say it doesn't matter? Because the more you hold on to certain names, the more you lose the purpose of the family. It was a whole family to begin with. Adam represents mankind adhering to the laws and standards of our Creator. Eve, his wife, his helpmate. Same thing. If we read the Bible, it tells us all the times where somebody actually did what they were supposed to do and uphold the standards of Canaanite law. Then you have those who said, well, we're going to follow whoever leads us according to their standards. That's when you find out all about these different deities across the land of the Canaanites. That's when you find out about Baal and El and any other attributions to a higher power. You find out that there is a promise. If you uphold my laws and my standards, no other deity will prevail against you. Well, once you start learning those kind of laws and attributations, you will also find out you cannot put another deity next to higher power. You cannot say that any deity even exists when you are ready to actually claim only the Creator guides you. There can't be another God. There cannot be another deity. If I meet you on the battlefield, I don't care what the name is that you claim of your higher power, it doesn't matter because your deity is not as strong as the one who made everything. I don't care about the deity that you respect that causes natural storms on this planet because that same force that made those storms happen is the same energy that causes the rain afterwards. The cloud that I can see in the sky that produces lightning and thunder will eventually bring rain. You bow down to thunder, lightning, destruction. I bow down to water, dispersing life into the plants. I don't bow down to the fact that nature has caused water to fall from the sky and feed the plants. No, I bow down to the natural occurrence because it has happened time and time again, and it is not something that mankind can control. Man cannot make it rain, nor can man stop rain from falling from the sky. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom at Barak. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. Yesterday, even though the program was recorded, the sound and the visuals weren't. So we have to make up for yesterday as well as tell you about today. Son of Man has no home. Son of Man has no home. We have one in YouTube land. I see you. Hashem Yahavahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. We are also simultaneously broadcasting to TikTok. I can't see you because I'm using Restream right now. I'm not monitoring who comes in and what you say. I could. That's not what I'm doing. I'm here to tell you a message. Yesterday, we were talking about the fact that Son of Man has no home. Today, we're talking about the root of the Order of Malachai Zadoq. Very important subject. Why? Because there is a root behind everything. Most of you haven't heard of Malachai Zadoq. You barely heard of Melchizedek because you barely heard anything coming from the pastor at your church that had something to do with the Bible. You barely had someone delivering the message to you where they only read from the Bible and then told you what it meant. Some of you have gone to church throughout your life and you've only heard 15 verses out of a book that holds 66 books. Mm-hmm. Some of you don't know what it means to miss a meal. Some of you show evidence of not missing any meals. Some of you show evidence of not reading one book from the Bible yourself. You haven't read a verse. You haven't read a chapter. You haven't read Old Testament. You haven't read New Testament. You couldn't tell anybody anything about that book. Yet, you will try to tell people how they're supposed to live their life. I have an issue with you. I will arm wrestle with you to the point where I break your arm. I will arm wrestle you to the point where I break your leg because I know how to do arm wrestling across your knee and mine. I will break your leg. Why? Because you don't even know enough from the book, yet you try to tell people how to live within the book. I will break your leg. I will break your arm. Preferably, I will break your thought process. What comes first? Breaking your mobility. You don't get to move with your false information. You didn't see that coming, did you? Son of Man has no home. You look down your nose at people and say they are homeless. Shame on you. You look down on people who happen to be nomads. They don't pay a lease. They don't pay rent. You do. They don't pay bills. You do. What have you attained from paying bills aside from the receipts showing that you have to go back to work tomorrow and for the next 29 days outside of tomorrow to make sure that you have the right to live at the address that you acquired. You have the nerve to look down your nose at somebody who sleeps outside. They're not paying what you pay. They have a higher price. Why? They didn't put their name on a contract to the government. They put their life on the line with an agreement to the one who gives us sustenance. Check out the difference. I tell you this while I, even myself, do not have a lease. I have an agreement. Don't play with me now. I have an agreement. If I don't do the things that I have declared I am supposed to do, if I don't do the things that are expected of me, even the place where I stay can be taken away. If I do anything outside of my character, there's someone on the left and there's someone on the right who can say, I don't belong. So don't get this messed up. Don't get this in confusion thinking that I can walk around scot free. No, I cannot. Yes, I am sovereign. No, I don't report to anyone physically. Yes, I must adhere to social boundaries. It was a listening party. There was a whole lot of music, not so much talking. I wasn't feeling talking yesterday. I don't feel like talking today. Most times that I have delivered a message, I did not feel like talking. I did not feel like delivering the message. I did not feel like telling you this is not Candy Saga. I didn't feel like coming to people and saying that. However, that's exactly what I needed to come out and say. It is exactly what I was giving energy to do. So I'm not complaining about what I must do. When I was 5 years old, I saw grown people whining and crying, asking, what are we supposed to do to change what we see? At 5 years old, I had walked into what we call 1980, according to the Roman Greco calendar. And when I was 5 years old, I was trying to figure out why must we keep time from a person who's been dead for 2,000 years. Lo and behold, I found out that there's two different people. The Messiah was passed away 2,000 years ago. Whoever and whatever Caesar passed away 2,000 years ago. So I had a choice. Now, I found that out when I was about 8 or 9. I went from 5 years old to 8 years old before I found out, well, you got a choice of who it is you want to follow according to this timeline. And by the time I realized that, yes, we do have a Messiah, I had also learned you can grow your hair and hold it, or your hair can be cut off. Either way, our Creator is with you. Not with everybody, with you when you make the promise. That was very necessary when I was 5 years old, when I was 8 years old, when I was 10 years old, when I was 12 years old, when I was 16 years old, when I was 19 years old, when I was 22 years old, when I was 25 years old, when I was 35 years old, all the way up to now at half a century. Same promise, same realization, same how to. None of it ever changed throughout the time I have seen in life. None of it changed. It was required within me to go study. It was required within me to use what I studied to go and help other people. It was required within me to make sure that when I opened my eyes, up to the point of closing my eyes for the day, during that time, making sure I was of service to our Creator. That is not in any book within the books of the Bible. That precept is found within self. That precept is found the moment you declare, I'm gonna live so Yahweh can use me anywhere at dawn, anytime. I'm gonna work so Yahweh can use me anywhere at dawn, anytime. I'm gonna live so, work so, pray so, Yahweh can use me. That is reaching from inside. That is not repeating what somebody told you to say. That is surf. A serf deciding they don't want to have a master. That is self realization. Babylon can't tell me what I need to value, so I don't serve Babylon, including its ruler. Syria can't tell me what I value, nor can Syria tell me to value the flesh and blood Syrian ruler. No matter what region the person comes from, there is no man nor is there a woman who can tell me how I'm supposed to live, because it is upon my own honor to read and study how I am supposed to follow certain standards that will keep me self governed, self accountable, sovereign. It doesn't matter what came from The Hague. It doesn't matter what came from the European Union. It doesn't matter what came from the North American Conference. It doesn't matter the League of Nations that recognize two-thirds of Africa. Because I know how to be self accountable. Therefore, I am a sovereign. What does that make me? Hyksos, because I follow that specific book, doctrine, leadership, spoken word, and terms. For the southern half of the globe, there is a spoken term. The only people who speak a different term come from what is known as South America. Go there and talk to the people. You will find out, even though they don't speak the language of the Hyksos, they do speak the same logic. Go to the northern half of our globe. You will find war. Why do you find war? Because people disagree on how we can be self accountable, sovereign, and kings within our own household. I don't belong to the northern half of the globe. I don't belong to the globe at all. I didn't come from the globe. I came from our Creator. You choose what you want to represent. Yesterday's message got erased. I thought I was being slick. I've been trying to play music in the background while still focusing on the message. Yesterday, I got schooled. I was shown you will have to choose what's more important. Not your face, not the words, not the sounds, not even the idea. What then? What? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? What? For the ultimate agenda. It's not for me. It's not for my own personal ego. Every time that I put on a broadcast, it is never for my ego. It is never to just gain views. I deliver broadcasts because I am a vessel. I am here to deliver a message, and it is very simple and plain. We are here to be of service to one another and bring balance because we have unique talents. Each and every one of us is born with a certain talent. We're supposed to use that talent to help others around us. I do live broadcasts to remind people of that. I don't have $1 million in any of the pockets of my blue jeans that I wear. I don't have $1 million in any bank, savings account, checking account, securities account. I don't have $1 million in anybody's account. I barely have $1. I barely have point oh 0.01 of a dollar recorded. Why? As the hairs on your head are counted, so are the days of your life. As the sands on the beach, so will you miss the water and the tides washing in. The people are the water. In a vision, I saw an angel standing, one foot in the water and the tide of a beach, and the other foot on the sand. I come to you because I see the visions. I record the words. I have eaten I don't know how many scrolls. That's why I speak the way that I do. Straight, no chasers. If you read the scroll, there's no juice. There's no extra shots to go along with the scroll. You're given the scroll. Read it, ingest it, live by it. That's exactly what I do. My everyday is waking up trying to figure out how and when will I eat. I don't wake up necessarily hungry. However, I know throughout the day I'm going to be hungry. So, what can I do in between to make sure that I can eat? Why? Because even though when I open my eyes and I say, I come from a dawn, I shall return to a dawn. May a dawn be pleased when I return. I've said it. That doesn't excuse me from going out to find the sustenance that is provided. That is really how you rest in Shabbat. You open your eyes, you have witnessed the fact that you are conscious. And when you do, you put a shield across yourself, around yourself. What is self? Your body and your activities. I come from our Maker. I shall return to our Maker. May our Maker be pleased when I return. That means I have faith in our Creator. And please allow me to use this body, this vessel, to do what is pleasing to our Creator, to the will of our Creator. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What does that mean? That means go and visit the book Ezekiel and learn about a city called Yahweh is there. Go visit Ezekiel. Go visit Chronicles. Go visit Kings. First Chronicles, Second Chronicles, First Kings, Second Kings. So you can figure out what it looks like to have a city where Yahweh. I don't know what you're talking about. We ain't seen that kind of. That's my point. You haven't seen the city Because if you read First Kings, if you read Second Kings, if you read First Chronicles, if you read Second Chronicles, it tells you all about the things that happen when Yahweh is not there. Selah. Where am I supposed to find out how to make sure Yahweh is there? After you get done reading Ezekiel, go read Isaiah. And between Ezekiel and Isaiah, read all those other books from those prophets. Instead of having a Greco Roman mindset, instead of having a Mycenaean mindset, go and figure out what it was like to live in the Sudan 16,000 years ago, not 2,000. Go and find out what a nomad is. Go find out what an Arab is, because an Arab is a person who lived anywhere in Persia, in the land of Canaan, in the land of Africa, a person who traveled instead of leaving their leaving everything that they called valuable in one place and calling it a homestead. An Arab is a nomad. Those who claimed a homestead wound up being the same people who had to pay a price for having the homestead, for living in a certain region, because they had to pay an obedience tax to the ruling king. Nomads don't have ruling kings, they have rules, and each individual is a king. Then you have to figure out what the rules are and if you are supposed to respect that king. Why? Because we're not supposed to have kings amongst us. Go and learn. Go and study in order for you to be able to speak on something, because the only people who will listen to you speaking on something are those who approve what you have to say. Study and show yourself approved. I come from a family where if I walked into a room and started talking, eventually I would be dismissed because I gave way too much information than what the assembly was asking for. I didn't come here to feed your appetite. I came here to feed what was missing. A very big difference. If you want to feed your appetite, go to the local buffet. If you want to feed what's missing, be thankful for what appears before you when you open your eyes. When you give thanks for the day and manna is right there in front of you, Give thanks again, because eventually that day will end. The manna in front of you will spoil, because you will be faced with another day, Adon willing. And in such case, the manna that you saw the day before will not fit the manna that you have today. All praises to our source of sustenance and mercy. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata allatheena an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim walad dallin. Ameen. I've been on a journey for about 5 years. I've been on a mission for 44 years. I want to thank all of you for the times that you show up, shake my hand, clap me on the back, walk with me, ask whatever questions, or just grant me an ear. I want to thank you. When I was 6 years old, I did not expect to see the things that I see today. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful for being able to see what I'm looking at. You can't see it. I won't say that you cannot see it. You would have to be sitting here with me. For you to see what I'm looking at out of my own eyes, taking in, granting it to my heart and to my brain for memory and for law. Heart, love, law, I love. What I speak to you, I also live according to. So no, you can't see what I see unless you were sitting here with me. It is beautiful, and I am thankful. Go out there and be the reason somebody else smiles. Go out there and do an act of kindness. You see somebody approaching a door, open the door for them. You see somebody with an armload of whatever they're carrying. Open your arms and carry it for them. Take it to where it needs to be. And when they are satisfied, you open your arms again and you hold them the way that you held that package. You exchange a hug with a real life human being. Hold them 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 60 seconds. Because you can produce a hormone that people pay to buy in a pill. We don't need to eat a pill when we can show the action of love. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who caught this message. Have a great day, and like I said, make sure you did something to make sure somebody else had a great day. It's real simple. Do that in your life. It's not about looking in the mirror and making sure that your face is pretty. No. Look in the mirror and be self assured that you help somebody else have a great day. Many much love and respect. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who caught this message. Until next time, the Son of Man has no home. The root of the Order of Malachai Zadoq is very simple. Honor our Creator. Place no one next to our Creator. You have no reason to covet anything of your neighbor. You have no reason to lie. No reason for giving false stories, whether it's how you live or how you say or how you think. And most important, you're not just judged by what you say. You're judged by what you think before it comes out of your mouth. If you have vile thoughts in your brain, not only does it seep out of your body, comes out of your soul as well. Your message becomes toxic. We live in a toxic world. How do we fix that? We don't build an ark. We wash away those who are toxic. You don't have to be here. You can change yourself. Hashem Yahavalahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum Warahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. May much love and respect.